Miss Transformers 96 here with another video. In this video, I'm going to be taking the most recent Marvel Legends series, being the X-Men wave, and counting them from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. This was a great wave in general, so it was very fun to count them down because, in some waves, I have to buy like all the figures to get the Build-A-Figure. But in this wave, it actually turned out where I bought the figures because I wanted the figures, and the Build-A-Figure was the bonus, which is how it should be, you know? So this was an excellent wave, and let's get counting down on them. And my least favorite figure of this wave is going to be Phoenix Jean Grey. So this figure it has its ups and it has its downs. Face sculpt I think is nice in some areas, in some other areas it needs work. I love the hair. The body sculpt is from Hellcat, which I'm not a huge fan of, specifically because of those kind of wedge boots, or heels, which allow her to be a little unstable, which is definitely unfortunate. She can't stand up perfectly, and that is definitely the biggest fault of this figure. It's a little annoying to pose and makes the figure just less fun in general. I also think that the neck is quite long, especially in some poses. So this figure has its good things about it, but it definitely does have its downfalls, which is why it's my least favorite on this list. However, this wave is just so strong that even though she's on the least, she's my least favorite of the wave, she's still good. She's not great, but she is still good, even though she is my absolute least. So that does say something about this wave. Next up, it's Havok. This Havok figure is pretty plain for this wave. He's on a standard Bucky cap mold with a really just standard, nothing special face sculpt, no expression, and then his accessories are nice. However, really would wish that they worked on a way to get them to actually have them coming out of his chest, and I would have, of course, loved a more expressive head sculpt. And then, pretty standard, just black paint on this figure. You get a couple areas with some nice silver, but it's definitely not enough to save this figure. It's okay, but nothing special. Definitely would only recommend it for people who are building Juggernaut or are specifically Havok fans. Other than that, nothing too special, relatively boring figure, but decent character and, still pretty good. And next place goes to Iceman. Iceman is a pretty decent figure, actually. He's on a pretty slim body sculpt with a butterfly joint, which I'm a big fan of that joint. A lot of new sculpted parts, which was surprising. I thought that, there would be new hands and a head and things like that, and maybe like new legs, but I didn't expect them to have new arms with some icicle effects on it, and then it does have an extra back piece, which gives him a nice icicle effect. Really do like the level of effort on this figure. Could have been very easy for them to just take this normal body sculpt and just give it that translucent paint and not resculpt any icicles other than on the head. But luckily they actually went above and beyond, and they did sculpt a lot of the icicles, which is very special and unique for Hasbro. My biggest issue with this figure is the slightly loose ankle joints, which make him a bit of a pain to mess around with because he's slightly unstable. It could just be my figure, but considering it's on both feet, I have a feeling that it's not just my figure. But overall, really nice figure. And at 5th place, we have Cable. So Cable is actually a really good figure. So for him to be at 5th place, that does, again, say something about this wave. Really nice figure, a lot of new sculpted pieces. I'm not 100% sure how much is new, but the torso is definitely new. The head is definitely new. The left arm is definitely new. The hands are new. I believe that the legs are new. They might have some pieces reused from something, but not that I'm 100% aware of. And even the weapons, I don't clearly recognize, so they might be new as well, or at least used for the first time. I'm not quite sure. Overall, though, a really nice figure. I love I love it when they actually do sculpt new parts, especially since they could have cheated and went with different legs and things like that. Having a classic Cable costume would have been cool, but I do like this costume anyway. It does look quite nice. The sculpting on it is really good. Articulation standard for Marvel Legends, but Marvel Legends standard is really good as well. So overall, really nice figure. Quite bulky too, so you do feel like you're getting your money's worth. And he's quite low on this list for as good of a figure as he is. 4th spot goes to Kitty Pryde. So yeah, so this was a figure that I wasn't particularly looking forward to. This entire wave I was looking forward to. However, there was a lot of other figures that I was specifically excited for. This not being one of them. However, actually getting it in person, it turned out to be fantastic. I'm a big fan of this figure. It turns out the torso is new, which was very surprising. I expected that just to be an extra piece that was glued onto an existing torso. However, it is a new torso, which is awesome. I love the head sculpt. It looks very realistic, and just the head sculpt itself is a big seller on this item. You do get her dragon pet as well as the onslaught head, so you do get a few accessories to make her more of a deal, as well as you get the left hand that is fully extended. I'm a big fan of that left hand. I think it's a great sculpt, and was first used with Beetle, and I'm very happy that they did get another reuse out of it. It's a really nice expressive hand. I think that it's just sculpted really well, and you can kind of express her power by like taking off her hand and putting it on the back of another figure, and then putting her arm next to the figure to make it look like she's reaching through them. Very cool figure. I was really impressed with this one, and it was one that I wasn't too looking forward to, so it was a good surprise. Alright, now we're down to the big leagues. In third place, we have Rogue. This was a really good figure, another pretty rare one. However, I was able to find it the first time I ever saw these X-Men figures in stores. They had all the common figures that you'd expect, and they had Rogue, so very surprising. This is a nice figure. I really do love it a lot. The head sculpt is great. Hair is fantastic. Do like the new sculpt on the arms and the jacket piece, and the paint. I like the colors that they use. The metallic dark green looks really nice against the yellow. There is some paint issues that I've seen on the thigh, and then I got another Rogue in a case, and I can compare the two to figure out which one I'm going to keep, and that one had paint issues on that same thigh as well, so I have to assume that it's specifically, to my one figure, because I've seen other examples where it's not perfect. So a little bit of paint issues, but nothing too terrible. Overall, a great figure. Not enough to be the best of the wave, however, still quite a nice figure. Second place goes to Wolverine. This was a really good figure, a completely new sculpt, which was fantastic. Has that butterfly joint, which is amazing. I would say without that butterfly joint, this figure would still be high on this list, but it would not be as high as it would. I think that without that joint, a Rogue would have beat it out. However, I love the butterfly joint, and to have it on a sculpt that's not just another Spider-Man sculpt is awesome, and it has a great range to it. It's not just some little thing, it actually has a full range to it. Makes this figure a lot more fun to pose, and obviously just the unique factor of having a new sculpt is great, and a very classic character with the blades on his hands look very cool, so definitely deserving that second spot. Of course, in first place, we have Deadpool. This is pretty obvious. I think that most people are going to like this figure the best. Character-wise, it's, a great character, obviously very fun, and because of his personality, it makes it a lot more fun to pose. However, from a figure perspective, this one is fantastic as well. Although it uses mainly a Bucky mold, a Bucky Cap body sculpt, which is quite plain and one that we've seen a lot of times, they spruced it up quite a bit with adding new straps and pouches and arm plates and the shin guards and the new boots and things like that. They really did make it more than just what it first appeared to be, which is awesome. And then of course with a slew of accessories, although he doesn't come with the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure piece, he comes with a slew of accessories that do just elevate the figure even more and give it so much more personality. And a lot of the accessories are completely new. Some of them are being reused in the Punisher set. However, for most of them, if not all of them, this was their first time being used, which is very special and very cool. So character-wise, it's fantastic, and figure-wise, Hasbro nailed it. Really do enjoy this figure and have a ton of fun with it, and it just looks really great. And with all the accessories, you can change it out so much that I would even love to get a second Deadpool if I could find one for a decent price, so that I can have him, in basically two different looks, because he comes with two different heads and just so many accessories. You can have him in all sorts of different styles and serious or funny positions. So this is definitely what I would consider the best figure of the wave. So overall, this was a fantastic wave. Like I've said throughout this video, this I would consider to be the best wave of Marvel Legends to date, I do love the Absorbing wave, the Absorbing Man wave from the, I think it's the fourth series of Spider-Man figures. That was a great wave with a ton of really cool, unique characters, topped off with a nice Build-A-Figure. However, this wave, I would say, definitely beats it. This is all, not just some, but these are all just A-class characters. A lot lot of times we get a lot of very obscure characters in Marvel Legends, which is a reason that I do love Marvel Legends. You know, it introduces me to these characters I wouldn't have thought of, and also that, you know, or characters that you would normally not think that you'd ever get into a figure, you would get in Marvel Legends because they do so many obscure characters, which is fun. However, every now and then it is nice to get just a solid wave of just A-class characters that, you know, you need in your collection, and this is definitely one of those waves. Really fun, and it is great to get a widely released X-Men wave, considering the Jubilee and Puck waves were so limited and hard to get. Both of those waves, those are the only two waves of Marvel Legends I don't have, because they were just so hard to get, and on the secondary market they went for crazy prices, and their prices never went down, so I was never able to get them, and I'm not willing to pay the crazy prices for them. So it is great to get a widely released X-Men wave that is just so perfect. Really fantastic. Each figure on its own is worth buying, which just makes the Build-A-Figure the cherry on top instead of the reason to buy the wave, which is great, you know, and that is a bit unique, unfortunately, nowadays. So overall, fantastic wave. Every character in this series is good. Even, you know, to my least favorite one, she's still a good figure. So this is an excellent wave. Would highly recommend it to anybody who's a fan of X-Men in general. This entire wave is worth getting. So there you go. That's my video review of the Marvel Legends, you know, countdown of the X-Men series from my least favorite to my favorite. I do have individual reviews of these guys, all possibly posted. If they're not posted, I have filmed them all, so you will get to see them eventually. If I haven't posted any that you want to see, please be sure to let me know in the comments so I can get that one out sooner for you guys. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this wave, and I'd love to see how you rank them.